What if the greatest discovery in human history had been hidden inside a mountain all this time? There is a place in eastern Turkey almost 2,000 meters above sea level where the ground reacts in a way that no one has been able to properly explain to this day. Reação. And when researchers used advanced technology, the same that revealed hidden rooms in the pyramids of Egypt, what appeared there left scientists and Bible scholars speechless. The strangest thing is that this place is exactly in the region that the Bible points to as the location where Noah's Ark would have come to rest after the flood. In today's video, I'm going to show you what scientists are finding in this place, why this subject has drawn attention around the world again in recent weeks, and what the Bible already said about this region long before all of this happened. But first, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Alright? So let's go! The book of Genesis says that when humanity reached an irreversible level of violence and corruption, God decided to send a flood upon the earth. But in the midst of all this, one man was spared, Noah, along with his family. So, God told him to build a large vessel, following very specific measurements. And after the waters finally receded, Genesis chapter 8 says that the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. And it was right there, in the region of Mount Ararat in eastern Turkey, that in 1959, a Turkish army captain named İlhan Durupinar was analyzing aerial photos of the region when he noticed something strange that shouldn't have been there. In the middle of the mountains, there was a gigantic formation with an almost perfect ship-like shape at one end. It was narrower like the front of a ship, and at the other wider like the back. The shape was so strange and so precise that the discovery attracted attention all over the world. Shortly after, Life magazine published aerial photos of the structure and raised a question that left many people intrigued. Could that be Noah's Ark? An expedition arrived at the site that same year, but stayed there for only a short time. They did some very shallow excavations, didn't find anything that looked artificial, and concluded that it was just a natural formation. But the story never really ended, because to this day no one has been able to explain one simple thing. If that was just a rock, then why did it have the shape of a ship similar to the description in the Bible, and was still exactly in the region described in the book of Genesis? And for more than 60 years that formation stayed there, in the middle of the mountains, waiting for the moment when technology would finally be able to reveal what was underneath it. Then in 2019, a team led by the American researcher Andrew Jones brought to the site a radar capable of seeing underground. Without the data was stored for years until a team decided to analyze everything again using a much more advanced program, and what appeared on the screens completely changed the story. The images showed a huge corridor 71 meters long crossing the structure from one end to the other. Há vários metros de profundidade, and on the sides, straight divisions appeared, as if they were corridors or connected spaces hidden underground. Several meters. Brothers, pay attention to this. Nature doesn't create such perfectly aligned shapes so easily. Rock, mud, erosion, none of these usually form straight lines, identical corridors, and such organized spaces. When the researchers analyzed the place more closely, they found hidden tunnels a few meters below the ground. These corridors ran through the center of the structure and along the sides as if everything had been planned. And in the middle of everything, there was a huge empty space, a kind of central chamber that the researchers began to call the atrium. And according to the Bible, Noah's Ark had several floors and separate spaces for people and animals. And the most impressive thing is that the tunnels and chambers found beneath that land seem to follow exactly this same pattern. But the researchers didn't just look at the images. Recently, the team started collecting soil samples inside and outside the formation after noticing something curious at the site. In the fall, the grass growing inside that area turned much more yellow than the grass around it, as if the ground there was completely different from the rest of the mountain. The results confirmed something was different there. the soil inside the formation had much more evidence of organic matter than the earth around it. And that caught their attention, because when wood is buried for thousands of years, it completely changes the surrounding soil, leaving very specific marks that researchers can still identify today. The scientist who led the analysis, William Crabtree, said that that type of composition didn't seem like natural for an ordinary formation. Now, it wasn't only the shape attracting attention. The soil itself seemed to be revealing a hidden story beneath the surface. And there's a detail that almost no one is talking about. Around this place, high up in the mountains, researchers found seashells and remains of sea creatures. And the strangest thing is that these samples were dated to a period that matches exactly the time when many believe the flood happened. I agree that each of these things could even be explained separately, but when everything shows up together in the same place, the story changes. Ship-shaped structure, measurements very similar to those described in the Bible. Signs in the soil indicating ancient wood, straight corridors hidden underground, and even marine fossils found at a much younger age than expected. And all of this is exactly in the region the book of Genesis describes. Scientists can explain parts of it, but what no one has been able to explain so far is the whole picture. And the next stage has already begun. According to Jones, the team is creating a small remotely controlled robot designed to enter through a narrow opening, go through the tunnels, and film everything inside without damaging the structure. And what makes the story even bigger is that the idea of a great flood doesn't appear only in the Bible. Peoples all over the world have preserved stories about a great flood that destroyed everything. The Sumerians, for example, recorded this story on clay tablets thousands of years ago, long before the Bible existed in the form we know today. The ancient Greeks told the story of Deucalion. The Hindus spoke of Manu. Indigenous peoples of the Americas, tribes from Australia, and ancient civilizations of East Asia also had similar accounts. In almost all of these cultures, there was the memory of a great flood that destroyed the ancient world and left only a few survivors. And to this day, no one has been able to explain why so many peoples, separated by oceans and thousands of years, tell practically the same story, as if they were all talking about the same event. Now, I can't say for sure that that formation in Turkey is really Noah's Ark. To this day, no complete excavation has been done there, and science still hasn't confirmed exactly what lies beneath that ground. But one thing is certain: everything that's being found in that place is making a lot of people uncomfortable. Both those who want to believe everything too quickly and those who try to deny everything without taking a closer look. Because the ground doesn't make up stories, the equipment doesn't have opinions, and the analyses show what's really there. And when all these discoveries start to point in the same direction, it's hard to ignore the similarity to what the Bible has described for thousands of years. And you know what stands out to me the most in this whole story? It's that while the scientific world keeps debating, the Bible remains extremely specific. Look at what Genesis chapter 8 verse 4 says, "And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, on the mountains of Ararat." Look at this, brothers. The place was already there the whole time, the shape too, and several details start to match up in a way that's hard to ignore. The difference is that now technology might be getting close to confirming something the Bible has been saying for thousands of years. And when so many clues start pointing in the same direction, it's hard not to stop for a moment and think about all this more deeply. And if this message made sense to you, leave a like and share this video on WhatsApp with other people. I'm Pastor Antonio Jr., and I'll see you in the next video. May God bless you mightily. Sending you a big hug.